The Phoenix Suns have clinched a playoff spot in the 2023 NBA playoffs with a victory over the San Antonio Spurs tonight as the Suns get their 44th win on the season with now 3 games to go, which we are going to talk about later. First off, thank you to everybody that is in here right now. I really appreciate you guys being here. You guys already know the drill. Do me a huge favor. Hulk smash that like button, crush that like button. There is so much great Phoenix Suns content out there. So I encourage you guys to just keep supporting me by just simply just keep watching. Even if you are not subscribed, go ahead and keep watching, share the show, tell people about the show, and I would really appreciate that. So running solo tonight on this one, but I do have some great guests sort of in the works, sort of planned, especially like when the playoffs start. I want to start getting more guests on here because it's nice to have other people's perspectives and opinions, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And to be honest with you guys, even though I've been doing this YouTube stuff for a long time, it's nice to have help on these live shows. But I am running solo tonight. And we're not going to spend really too much time on this game because let's be real, like besides the third quarter, there really wasn't too much to talk about. But we definitely are going to talk about that third quarter for better or worse. No alcohol tonight for me. I'm just sticking to the water. So let me know what y'all are drinking out there and cheers. Probably going to be having a few drinks on Friday, though. That's why I'm not really drinking tonight or anything. But let's go ahead and dive into this game, y'all. Again, there's really not too much. Sorry, my phone's going off. There's really not too much to like really overanalyze here. There's really not too much to, like, oh man, let's go back and revisit that Spurs game. But I do want to talk about some things, some key sequences, and really some great moments in this game, on and off the court as well. But let's go ahead and start. So, first off, and I want to make sure I'm getting this right. And I took a photo of this because I wanted to make sure I got it right. The San Antonio Spurs were missing Ken Birch, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Shohan, who's a solid rookie, by the way, Zach Collins, and Romeo Langford. And I also think, I could be wrong, but I believe Charles Bassey? Yeah, Charles Bassey. Oh, wait, did he play? He wasn't even in the game tonight. I'm a big Charles Bassey fan, by the way. Was drafted by the 76ers, didn't really work out over there, and went to the G League and dominated, and the Spurs were smart and picked him up. So they were down a lot of guys, and that's kind of where I want to start. Not only were they down a whole bunch of guys, but unfortunately, they lost Doug McDermott, Dougie McBuckets, who, by the way, that's my friend Josh's cousin. So shout out to my guy Josh. That's his cousin. But they lost him during the game, and I hope he's okay. But they also lost Devontae Graham, who seemed to go down with some kind of an injury, was on the floor for a while. And shout out to the Suns fans who were there because they applauded when he got up and they helped him to the locker room and everything. I hope he's okay. But the point being is, how many guys did they finish this game with? Like 7. They were down so many players. They're obviously tanking for Wemby, Victor Wembanyama. I hope I said his name right. So you think that this was going to be a complete beatdown. And in all fairness, for the first, 2 quarters, it was. The Suns were cruising. It was just one of those games where I even wrote this down. Like, even when the Suns would like turn the ball over or something, it would somehow end up back in their hands and they would finish with a fast break dunk. The ball movement was incredible tonight, hitting threes. There was the early play where Josh Okogie got a Kevin Durant pass, and then that found its way inside to DeAndre Ayton. I thought that we're going to talk about Ayton later, but DeAndre Ayton was really patient tonight. I thought he was really good, but I'm just kind of going over some plays and stuff that I noted and took down. There was the one play where I'm trying to think here. I'm sorry. I had my notes here and now I'm just losing my thoughts here. Pretty much, you guys, everything was going for the Phoenix Suns. They were shooting 77% early in this game at the 4:32 mark. The threes were going down, the ball movement was solid. And again, it was just one of those games where just everything seemed to be clicking for the Phoenix Suns until the third quarter. And I was a little nervous about that. And here's why. Because obviously the Denver Nuggets are a much better team, even though they lost by 21 tonight to the Rockets. The Denver Nuggets are obviously a much better team, a much healthier team than the San Antonio Spurs. So here's what I was worried about. My lighting is tripping out, by the way. I don't know if y'all can see that. But here's what I was worried about. Were we going to have a repeat of that Denver Nuggets game? And by that, I mean, we dominated in the first half of the Nuggets game. We crushed the Spurs tonight in the first half. I mean, that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier was this game was pretty much over. The Suns scored 42 points in the first quarter, right? And then just like we saw in the Nuggets game, the third quarter happened and the Suns led up. And yeah, the Suns did beat the Nuggets and everything, but it took so long for the Suns to, I mean, the Nuggets kept scratching and clawing their way back into the game, and it took forever for the Suns to put them out. In the third quarter, we had a repeat of that tonight, and that was my biggest concern. Here's how the third quarter went down. Before I talk about certain key moments and plays and all that I was trying to do, and then I lost my train of thought because I'm stupid. Okay. The Suns had a 31-point lead at one point in this game. Before halftime, the Spurs cut the lead down to 69-51. Kevin Durant opened the third quarter with a corner three. Devin Booker had a couple dribble drives, couple nice shots. Then the Suns started turning the ball over. And that was one thing I noticed. And it sort of reminded me of the Denver game. They opened up the third quarter with I can't say that word, lackadaisical energy. They were turning the ball over, and obviously the Spurs pounced. And Eddie Johnson made a great point in the broadcast. He said, anytime you turn the ball over back-to-back times and you give another team at any level the ball back twice in a row, they're going to make you pay for it, and they did. The Spurs had a couple back-to-back shots. They were playing aggressive. They were stepping up on the defense, and they were making their threes in the third quarter. That obviously cooled down in the fourth quarter. So they started hitting their threes. They were on like a 9-0 run, and all of a sudden, this was a ball game. And that's kind of what concerns me about this team. And I understand, we are light years away from the Spurs in terms of talent, chemistry, et cetera, et cetera. But again, we saw it in the Denver Nuggets game. I mean, we were playing against their B or C squad, their bench guys who are, again, the Nuggets are a better team than the Spurs, and we let down. We played down to our competition. And I'm not saying we necessarily did that tonight, but they pounced on us. The Suns sort of let the lead slide a bit going into halftime. And then in the third quarter, started turning the ball over. We weren't playing at the same pace. We weren't hitting shots. We kept turning the ball over. We just seemed to be out of a funk. And even with Kevin Durant, you guys, that's what kind of scares me about this team is just playing for a solid 48 minutes. And like I always say, I'm getting repetitive on this channel. Just give me 40 out of those 48 minutes of solid Phoenix Suns basketball. I mean, am I alone in thinking this? Because I don't know if we've seen it. And I said this a while ago. I was like, I wish the Phoenix Suns could have some kind of like a quote tune-up game where they just kick the crap out of another team. And sort of in a way, that's what they did tonight. I mean, the final score was 115-94. I haven't seen a score like that for the Suns in a while. So this was a big win. Like, we needed the win. It clinched us a playoff spot, which we're going to talk about all that later. But I just wish we wouldn't have these trending in the wrong way third quarters. I mean, again, we turned the ball over. They were aggressive. They were making shots. Yikes. It was a little frustrating. And then all of a sudden, I want to say maybe around the 5-minute mark of the third quarter was when they really started to wake up. Devin Booker was really aggressive. Kevin Durant was great. And again, we're going to talk about all these guys in a little bit. But they seem to kind of wake up and say, okay, this one's over. We're not playing around anymore. The game's over. I wasn't really too concerned after the fourth quarter, or when the fourth quarter started, I should say. The Suns started making their shots. They were better with the ball. Things were clicking. The energy was great. But that third quarter was really frustrating. Let me talk about a couple key plays that I was trying to talk about earlier before my brain froze. Now I forget when this was in the first quarter. So Bismack Biyombo, I should say. Bismack Biyombo blocked the ball. Torrey Craig ran the fast break, and we're going to talk about Torrey Craig later because he was fantastic. Busy with the block. Craig runs the fast break. Devin Booker just throws it down. 42 first quarter points for the Suns. Then another busy block that found. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Even when the Suns were like turning the ball over a little bit in the first quarter, it still ended up in the Phoenix Suns' hands with the points because there was another possession where Busy had a block. I think he gave it to Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross took the ball at court. He kind of like fumbled it to KD. KD almost fumbled it, caught the ball, dished it to Busy, and he just threw it down. It was incredible. Chris Paul's first miss led to a Torrey Craig putback dunk. It was awesome. And then, that's pretty much it. Those were just some sequences and plays that I really noticed. And again, we're going to talk about the players' stats and everything because there was just so many great performances tonight. Chris Paul, Torrey Craig, DeAndre Ayton, KD, and Booker. We're going to dive all into that real quick. Shout out to Vision Phasma, who says, is Payne hurt? I have no clue. I mean, did he even play tonight? I don't even think he did, man. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Shout out to Roy, who's in here. I appreciate you. He says Suns are 7-0 with Kevin Durant. Thanks for being here, Roy. It's been a while, man. How you doing? Nico is in here. He said, or let's go Suns. I'm not even going to try to sports chop. I can't even read tonight, you guys. My brain is fried. I apologize if this live show sucks. I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. Caesar says, is Ayton intentionally soft on the glass to avoid foul trouble? I don't know. We're going to talk about Ayton in a minute, and I'll try to get to your question. I'll try to answer your question as best as I possibly can. But let's go ahead and dive into the stats, y'all. Let me just refresh the page to make sure everything's updated. And we're going to be diving into the standings and the final 3 Suns games here in a little bit. So let's start with the Suns' leading scorer tonight, and I got to play his drop, Devin Booker. Devin Armani Booker. What's so great about Devin Booker is even when he's not very efficient, and I try not to use that word too much, but I've kind of been using it as of late. Sorry, I'm fixing one of my lights. What's so great about Devin Booker is when he's not very efficient, he still puts the ball in the basket. He still finishes with like 20 points, 25 points, 30 points, even on some of his not efficient nights. And tonight was one of those. 9 for 21 from the field, 2 for 10 from 3, but got to the free throw line 8 times, made 7 of them. Still finished the game with 27 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, 7 rebounds, and had 2 turnovers and 2 fouls. But he got to the free throw line. He was doing Devin Booker things out there. I think at one point he had 25 or 26 points in like 20-something minutes. He was just cooking out there. It was Devin Booker. There was a few plays where he would just take the ball up himself. Ayton would kind of help out with the screen or at least kind of be a decoy right there. He would just drive in and shoot it from where the free throw line wasn't in. He had a couple of nice floaters in this game. He was Devin Booker. He was great tonight. Again, not very efficient, but I'm fine with that. Because think about it in a playoff perspective, you guys. If Devin Booker can have a non-efficient night, but finish with 25 points or 27 points or whatever it is, that is going to be huge in the playoffs. plus the playmaking out there. Just doing everything he can, doing his best on defense, taking pressure off of Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. I thought Booker was fine tonight. And speaking of Kevin Durant, let's talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. You guys, I wish I had the like stats and facts in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant has only finished with 18 points like a handful of times. Finished with 18 points tonight. Again, going back to what I was saying about Booker, not very efficient, 6 for 14. Started off that third quarter with a corner three, had a few nice drives here and there, had a few nice plays. But you guys, Kevin Durant scored 18 points tonight, had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. And the Suns won pretty easily. And again, I know it's against the stinky Spurs and their injuries and all that, but still. It kind of reminded me like a couple of games ago and when Durant finished with like, 16, 8, and 4? Wasn't that against the Nuggets or whatever when he made that comeback or his ankle injury comeback? It reminds me of that. Like he finished with under 20 points and the Suns won pretty easily. The possibilities are endless. The potential is endless. And it's pretty scary to think about. I mean, I saw someone tweet it earlier, like Devin Booker is our second best player on the team. That's crazy. That is just the gravity and the impact, which is Kevin Durant. It's so good, man. Oh, and by the way, that one of those blocks, I think it was his only block, right? I think he had one block. Yeah, it was one block. That block by Kevin Durant was an incredible chase down block. And sort of like in the last game, that chase down block the last game was one of the best blocks this season, and he did it again tonight. These chase down blocks were fantastic. Let's talk about the next person on the list here. And I kind of want to sort of attempt to address a question that was asked about this player, but let's talk about DeAndre Ayton.
The Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton, 19 points in 29 minutes, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. That doesn't happen very often. I hope that kind of motivated DeAndre Ayton to get to the line more. Had 11 boards, had 1 block, 1 assist, 1 steal. So somebody in the chat had asked, is Ayton intentionally soft on the glass to avoid foul trouble? I've always kind of been a critic of the Suns rebounding in general, despite what the stats say. And I've been a critic of DeAndre Ayton's rebounding, despite what his rebounding numbers are, which usually are good. I mean, he's a double-double machine. So I don't know if I'm answering Caesar's question here. But could he be a better rebounder? Could he be a better, could he box out much better? Could he be more physical on the glass? Absolutely. There are countless games where it'll be like a key possession, it'll be a key miss, and you'll hear somebody, probably Chris Paul, say, "Get up, DA," or "Get up," and like DeAndre Ayton jumps up and grabs that damn ball. It seems like when the moments are serious and the possessions, like whenever it's coming down to the wire, that's when we see DeAndre Ayton get super aggressive on the rebounds. But if DeAndre Ayton had that fire and I don't want to say athleticism, but just that fire and that aggressiveness to rebound like a Josh Okogie and Torrey Craig, who, by the way, we're going to talk about Torrey Craig later. I think Ayton's rebounding numbers would be even better. But is he a good rebounder? Yes. Do I believe he's a top 10 center in this league? Yes, I do. But even the great Al McCoy, who we're going to talk about later, kind of referenced like how, he's still a young player. He didn't play much center in Arizona and hasn't been playing basketball very long, but like when he's locked in, when he's focused, he's one of the best bigs in the league. We're going to need DeAndre Ayton to be the best DeAndre Ayton that he can be in the playoffs. Because I'm willing to argue that if Ayton didn't have the performance that he had throughout the 2021 playoffs that led us to the finals, who knows if we even get to the finals? He was arguably our best player throughout that finals run until the finals. You know what I mean? So we're going to need the best version of DeAndre Ayton. And I hope Ayton getting to the free throw line 7 times tonight inspires them. He definitely needs to work on his hands. I will say that. And I think the Suns as a team need to gang rebound more. Because again, despite what the numbers say, I don't believe we're really that good of a rebounding team. That's just my personal opinion. I'm a big critic about that. Not saying I could do it any better, but I just think we're not that good at rebounding. So hopefully that answers the question. But I thought DeAndre Ayton was fine tonight. He just does DeAndre Ayton things. And guys, I know there's a lot of DA haters and a lot of DA critics out there, but I will say this. We really do look completely different as a team, or probably worse, without DeAndre Ayton. I know there's some people that want Ayton traded and blah, 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 and Ayton sucks at this, Ayton this, Ayton that, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. We are a completely different team without DA on the court. But at the same time, these standards need to be held extremely high for DeAndre Ayton, especially with a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players ever, Kevin Durant, on your team. I mean, like, I hope KD is pushing DA in practice, every single practice. You know what I mean? And I hope that DeAndre Ayton is learning from Kevin Durant, just like he's learned from Chris Paul, just like he's learned from Booker, et cetera, et cetera. I hope KD is pushing him, man. That's my DeAndre Ayton rant. Just wanted to get it out there. But somebody who I think was the player of the game, in my personal opinion, was Torrey freaking Craig. Did you guys see Torrey Craig tonight? Holy cow, man. 25 minutes tonight. He had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, by the way, 3 assists. And it was just the hustle and the defense and the rebounding and the putbacks. And I cannot repeat this word enough with Torrey Craig, the hustle and just the effort. Like, there was that one play where I think somebody missed and he like hustled back to get it. It almost went out of bounds and he just drove in, flew up in the air and drew the and one and scored. And then, like, as I mentioned, like, I think like Busy had the I think it was earlier. I don't know. It was just so many great Torrey Craig finishes tonight. And I say finishes like seriously, because like I feel like a lot of his points came off finishes or putbacks or offensive rebounds. He was great tonight. If we can get that Torrey Craig off of the bench in the playoffs, holy cow, you guys, we are going to be a tough team to beat. I was talking with my good friends over at the Suns Jam Session podcast about this. We had a great segment about who is the Phoenix Suns' 5th starter going forward. And I think I believe it's probably Josh Okogie. I mean, he started tonight, probably not going anywhere for a while. And again, if this Torrey Craig can come off of the bench as the 6th, 7th man and do what he was doing tonight, holy cow, you guys. That is just another weapon that the Suns have in their arsenal. Because as we saw, Craig can get you a few points. He can get you some big rebounds, big blocks, big putbacks, big energy. Sometimes players just thrive off of hustle and momentum, like a Josh Okogie, for example. Because, yeah, he's not great on offense, but his defense, his offensive rebounds are just huge for the Suns team. So, in my opinion, Torrey Craig's the player of the game. Let me know what you guys think. You guys tell me. Torrey Craig the player of the game tonight because he was fantastic. Let's keep going down the list here. Can't believe we're almost 30 minutes in. I feel like I've just been rambling on, talking about whatever. Another player I thought had a really good game tonight, you guys, Bismack Biyombo. I know that he only played 16 minutes. He only finished with 10 points, but he had 4 big blocks in this game. He is just I don't care if he's the 3rd string, 2nd string, or maybe even a 4th seed on some teams. I don't care if he's the 4th string center. I don't care if he's coming off the bench or starting. He is just such a serviceable big man in this league. You know what I mean? Especially like when we had the injuries and DeAndre Ayton was out, he just provides such good minutes. And what's crazy is last time I checked, he's only 30 years old. Like it feels like he's been in the league for so long, but he's only 30. I mean, if he keeps playing and providing good minutes, I see a scenario where the Suns bring him back next year. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Busy, especially all the great stuff he does off the court. Busy was great. Somebody who was not great tonight, though, Landry Shamet. Yikes. I don't know, man. Monty Williams brought him in early, and I think he made a couple turnovers, blew a couple defensive possessions, couldn't put the ball in the basket for whatever reason. I thought that was his specialty. I will say this optimistically about Landry Shamet is at times he can provide you with good minutes. And when he gets streaky, when he gets hot, kind of like we saw in that Christmas Day game against the Nuggets, when the ball's actually going in the basket for him, we're hard to beat, but it's just not consistent, nor has it ever been consistent. That's the biggest problem with Landry Shamet. I mean, he played 13 minutes tonight, couldn't get a shot down, man. Oh boy. Let me just look at some team stats. I'm not really going to talk too much about the Spurs. Because really, guys, my opinion on the Spurs is pretty simple. I kind of said it at the start of the game. They are definitely injury plagued. And again, prayers up to Devontae Graham, who had a hard fall. Prayers up to Dougie McBuckets as well. But they're injured. Who knows if Greg Popovich is going to come back next year? They're tanking for Wemby. I don't know. Like even when they're healthy, like they have a lot of solid young players like Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Shohan, et cetera, et cetera. I referenced Charles Bassey earlier, who I'm a big fan of, but like, I don't know what the direction is with the Spurs. They probably won't be good for a very long time, but who knows? Maybe they get Wemby and their fortunes change. So that's my thoughts on the Spurs. Not going to spend too much time talking about them. Just going over some final numbers here. Suns shot 48% tonight. We hit 10 threes. And that kind of goes back to the Landry Shamet thing, the Devin Booker going 2 for 10 from 3. Heck, even a Damian Lee. Like, once that 3-ball starts falling for the Suns, we are going to be a very tough team to beat on any night, in any game. Once that 3-ball starts falling consistently for this team, like, I feel sorry for the team that's playing us that night. My lighting is all kinds of messed up tonight. I'm sorry, you guys. Let's keep going here. Suns got to the free throw line 26 times, 19 free throws made, 73%. We beat them on the rebounding battle, 57-38. Wow, surprising stat here. I don't know why I find this surprising. Both teams had 25 assists tonight. I don't know why I find that surprising. I don't know. I just felt like we had a lot more assists than that. We turned the ball over 14 times, especially in that third quarter, which really isn't good. Crushed them in the points in the paint battle, 52-38. And our largest lead was 31 at one point. And I cannot believe I completely overlooked Chris Paul tonight who had 22 points. I believe a lot of his threes were in that first half. Finished with 22 points tonight. Made the 4 threes, 9 for 14 shooting, had 3 assists. How many times in a game has Chris Paul had only 3 assists? That's because the ball was going in for Chris Paul. He was getting those touches. He was getting set up in the perfect spots. Like early in the game, there was like so many times where the Suns were like setting screens and getting Chris Paul the open look. And he was taking it. And he's been taking and making it as of late. I think he even talked to the great Al McCoy, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, about like, I can still make it. I can still shoot it. I just don't get the ball that much. Like, I thought he was great. He was cooking. And I saw a few people talking on Twitter about like, holy crap, man, if we're going to get this kind of Chris Paul, who is taking and making shots, taking and making threes, we all know the mid range is pretty solid. Even though Chris Paul's been slowing down, we all know that mid-range shot is pretty much a give me. Chris Paul can start launching some threes and making them in the playoffs. And you know what? I know that there's been a lot of discourse, if you will, if that's the word. I know there's been a lot of engagement and conversations about Chris Paul, but I've been a believer in him this season. And I've even admitted to myself that he has slowed down. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because Chris Paul will still give you like 12 points, 14 assists, or 9 points and 16 assists. Like, we need him just to be the quarterback out there. And if he wants to give us points like he did tonight, that's fine. I think Chris Paul's had a pretty good season, all things considered. Again, if we can get this kind of a Chris Paul throughout the playoffs, if we can get this kind of a Torrey Craig off the bench and a Bismack off the bench, and if that 3 ball can start falling consistently, guys, Kevin Durant gave us 18 points tonight and we won. Like, that probably rarely ever happens, especially KD getting the 18 points. So that's kind of just my thoughts. Those are just my takeaways. I will get to the chat because there's some things that I want to. I've seen some good comment. I'm going to try to get to all the comments. So if I missed your comment or question, I apologize. Get your questions in right now, you guys. Get any questions, comments, concerns. Get them all in the chat right now. I'll try to get to each and every single one of them. I want to talk about a sort of off the court thing that happened today. I'm sure you all heard it. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it. The legend, the man that's right behind me somewhere over here, I can't point, the legend Al McCoy, the voice of the Phoenix Suns, Al McCoy, was on the call for the second quarter. And look, you guys, I'm a big fan of Kevin Ray. I've met the guy multiple times. He's a very nice guy. He's a great broadcaster, in my opinion. And I love Eddie Johnson as well. Even though I don't always agree with Eddie Johnson sometimes, he does make really good points. He's played the game. He understands. It was just so nice and a pleasure and just so refreshing to hear how positive, how professional, and how great the legend Al McCoy was tonight. And that man is all business. Like, he was just so focused on the game, breaking down the game. He is the definition of a true professional. And I can't even sum up how legendary of a career he has had. He is literally, when I say he is the voice of the Phoenix Suns, he is the voice of this team. And he said the sweetest thing at the very end. He said something like, 51 years, it's been a great ride. Like, I almost cried when he said that. It was so good. And I took a picture of this on the graphic. Al McCoy, this is just like his career resume. Sorry, I hit my mic. 51 seasons of broadcasting. Think about that, you guys. 51 seasons of broadcasting, 82 games plus the playoffs. Like, that's insane, man. That work ethic and consistency is incredible. That should be a Hall of Fame career right there alone. But then just continuing on. He's the longest tenured play-by-play voice in the NBA. He won the Kurt Gowdy, I hope I said that right, Kurt Gowdy Award in 2007, and was in the Suns Ring of Honor in 2017, a game that I was actually at. Still have photos from that night. That was a great night. And just not only that, but just so much more. He's got his own book. Mike Breen, the guy that goes bang. Mike Breen called him one of his broadcasting heroes, and just so much more. The man is just a true icon, a legend, and he will be missed. His last game is April 9th, and I hope that Al McCoy takes the longest vacation. I'm serious. I hope he goes on like a 2-month vacation and just relaxes on the beach, you know what I mean? And does whatever he wants to do, because he deserves it. Absolute legend, Al McCoy. Okay. I'm going to get some comments here, and then we will close things out. I'm going to try to get to every comment. I appreciate everybody that's in here, by the way. Make sure to crush that like button, y'all. Share the show. Tell people about Suns Geek. You guys know the drill. Let me just get some comments here. Suns are 7-0 with Kevin Durant. Let me see. Yeah, Mikey says, sorry for being late. I was listening to Al McCoy's last post-game coverage, sad face. I don't know if it was his very last, but because I think his last game is April 9th. But yeah, it's definitely felt like his last, because that second, I wish they would have done that more, man. Like had Al McCoy on more, because that was an absolute pleasure. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we will talk about the standings. Always Arizona Sports TRL says, great win. That Clippers-Lakers game tomorrow will be determining too. The Lakers are like 7-3 in their last 10. They've been playing great basketball. I believe they're the I believe they're the 7th seed right now. Mikey says, we're 7-0 this season with KD in these games. I love our chances staying healthy and moving forward to the playoffs. Marv says it's a good tune-up game for KD. He'll peak perfectly for the playoffs. Okay. Somebody I follow on Twitter, I'm not saying I agree with this, but I guess he made an interesting theory. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just playing messenger here. Somebody I follow on Twitter said something along the lines of like, these third quarter collapses by the Suns have just been to give KD and the Suns more run, like more touches, more opportunities. He pretty much said that. I'm paraphrasing the tweet. He's not wrong, but I don't believe the Suns would do that. I don't fully believe that. It kind of makes sense in theory, but I'm like, that's not how Kevin Durant and Booker operate, man. Like these guys just want to pounce on teams, get the ball in the basket, and go rest on the bench. But maybe these bad third quarters against like the Nuggets and Spurs, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. I don't know. Just wanted to get my thoughts on that. Anyways, let's see. Bismack should start. He rebounds and blocks better. That's funny. But you're kind of not wrong on that. Especially the blocking and rebounding. Yes. Sans M says Channing Frye and Jamal Crawford were going at it. Frye said the Lakers will beat the Suns in the playoffs. Okay. Thank you for bringing this up, Sans. I didn't listen to the full Channing Frye thing. I listened to maybe like 10 seconds of it. This is why. And look, that's Channing Frye's opinion. That's fine. He is welcome to his own opinion. I don't agree with him. And I gave the Lakers credit. I said they're 7-3 in their last 10. They have been playing better basketball. Obviously, when you have LeBron and AD, you are probably going to be at least a decent team. But like, this is why I don't like the NBA on TNT. This is why I don't like, the Stephen A. Smiths and the national media for the most part, because they just say outlandish, crazy things to get clicks and views and people. And as a content creator, I get it. I understand it. But you guys don't hear me saying like outlandish things on here too much. Like, I don't do that clickbait stuff. And I'm not saying that's the reason he said it. And again, Channing Frye played for the Suns. He played in the league for years. Like, I believe he won a championship. Like, he knows what it takes. And he's been in the league and all that. But like, I don't know what he's watching. I mean, has he not watched these 7 games with the Suns and KD? Did he not see that we were still a pretty decent team despite all the injuries? I just think a lot of the national media doesn't watch the Suns for whatever reason. And I think he's wrong on that. We will have to see. Would I like to play the Lakers in the first round and kick their ass? Hell yeah. I think maybe they get one game on us, maybe. But again, like, they're the 7th seed. Suns clinched the spot in the playoffs. So I don't know. And I'm look, I would like to get revenge on the Mavericks one day for them kicking our ass in game 7 and all that, but I'm kind of liking their downfall. And they are falling. So I'm pretty sure if the Mavericks lose tomorrow or whatever, they're pretty much out for the most part. Someone fact check me on that, but that's my rant. I don't really like the national media too much. Okay. Let's keep going here. Marv says, I feel like teams are sleeping on CP3 going into these playoffs. He's a bit of a secret weapon. Exactly, man. And that's why I also think that DeAndre Ayton, as crazy as this might sound, as hot take as this might sound, I think DeAndre Ayton could be a secret weapon in the playoffs too. Because what if I said from the moment we got KD, I was like, man, let's say KD doesn't have it going, or he's like missing some shots, or he's well guarded. Let's say Booker's a little inefficient. Chris Paul's going to be right there. DeAndre Ayton can clean up the mess and get you some points. We've seen Terrence Ross explode for like 24 points or whatever, 30 points. Like, we have guys that can help win us games in the playoffs. And if Chris Paul can have a night like tonight in the playoffs, we're going to be tough to beat, man. Okay, let's see. What's even more amazing was that the Suns were outscored 64-54 the rest of the game after going up 31 points. That can't happen, Suns Geek. That's an amazing point right there. I'm going to let you guys take that one. That's actually a really good point. But I agree with you. These third quarters absolutely cannot happen in the playoffs. If they do, even with KD, man, yikes. If that happens in the playoffs, great win. Everyone scores much. Love to Suns Geek. No one will beat us. And the NBA, go Phoenix Suns. Thanks for being here, Jesse. Okay, let's see. Good question here from Vision. Do you think we'll rest starters for one of the Denver LA games? Maybe that Clippers game. Because what I like is that game's an early game. I'm pulling up the schedule right now. That game's an early game, I believe. I think it starts like 12:30 and it's at home, possibly. Or maybe like the Suns will start, their original starting 5, but like bench them like at halftime. I could see a scenario of that, but it might be smarter. I believe the Clippers game, I think we're going to pull the whole load management thing or whatever. That's a good question though. We'll have to see. I don't know. Okay, whoa, sorry, my thing just refreshed. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading some comments here. Okay, I already got to that one. The basketball and football guy says, who do we want to play in the first round? Okay. Good question here. I'm going to pull up the standings right now because every game's been played. So I'm sure the standings are updated. I'm going to share the standings on the screen too, so y'all can see. Thank you for everybody that's in here, by the way. We've been live for 46 minutes and we still got 40 people in here. You guys are all amazing people and I love you guys. All right. So we'll start with the Western Conference. I'll zoom in on this so y'all can see it. Hopefully y'all can see it. So these are the updated standings as of right now. And as the basketball and football guy asks, who do we want to play in the first round? Well, if the playoffs were to start today, we'd play the Warriors, the defending champions. And even though I don't agree with Channing Frye, as I mentioned, the Lakers are right there at 7. It's pretty much a three-way tie if you think about it. Pretty much it's pretty much a three-way tie between the Clippers, Lakers, and Pelicans right now. And then the Timberwolves are creeping right there, and the Thunder could even make the playoffs. I kind of don't want the Warriors in the first round. I don't want to sound scared. I don't want the Warriors in the first round. I would rather play the Clippers just due to their situation and because they haven't really been consistent this year. I mean, maybe if PG-13 comes back and they seem to be click because when PG and Kawhi are there, they're clearly one of the better teams in the league. But like, if they're dealing with injuries and stuff, and we're looking pretty good, give me the Clippers in the first round. I'm not saying we can't beat the Warriors in the first round because yeah, their road record sucks, and yes, it does. They're 9-30. But like Andrew Wiggins is coming back. We all know how Steph Curry is, especially when Steph and Clay are cooking. I personally would want the Clippers in the first round, or maybe even the Lakers. Give me the Lakers, man. Let's shut Channing Frye up and beat the Lakers in 5. And as I've said this so many times, you guys. I think no matter who we play in the first round, it's not going to be easy. That's just the way the NBA is. It's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win in the playoffs. So I think, like, yeah, I would be biased and I would have faith in my team. I believe that we can get to the finals. I believe we can win a championship this year. I believe it's finals or bust as long as we're healthy. As long as Katie, Paul, Booker, and Ayton are healthy. It's finals or bust. But it's not going to be easy. I don't think we're going to run over teams. You don't really see too many sweeps nowadays, in my personal opinion, in the playoffs. Usually teams get at least one win. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, let's see. So y'all can look at the standings. And that's pretty much it, because if you look at it, I mean, like, yeah, the Mavericks are there and the Jazz are technically still alive, but like it's pretty much like, maybe I guess I'll throw the Mavericks in there, but it's pretty much the Thunder, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Lakers, Clippers. It's like the play-in race, the playoff race is just chaotic, and I love it. And I'll just say this: the Nuggets are a really good team, but again, they lost by 21 tonight. I don't fully trust them. Like, yeah, they'll probably be hard to beat in the playoffs, and yeah, they've won 52 games, but I just don't trust that team. All right. Moving on here. Rob says, should the Suns go after Mikal Bridges when he hits free agency? This is definitely a question for me to answer during the offseason. That's like, what, 4 years from now? I don't know, man. I don't even know. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm going to say yes, because Mikal will probably be like a 2-time All-Star by then. But like, what if, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'll just say yes. Why not? But I hope we have a couple championships by then. You know what I mean? All right, moving on. Andrew, I sort of answered your question about the Clippers. I pretty much think if Kawhi and PG are healthy, I think it goes 6 games because they have a lot of depth on that team. Kawhi and PG are two of the best two-way players in the game. They're hard to stop when they're fully healthy, but I would take us in 5 or 6. Definitely would be tough. We would need a lot of consistency out of our bench because we don't want to overplay KD, Book, Ayton, Paul in the first round. But yeah, it would be tough, man. All right, let's see. Sorry, every time I scroll down, my chat keeps refreshing. David says, hearing Al McCoy calling the shots in the second quarter was very bittersweet. Exactly. I agree. Seeing the Mavericks downfall brings me joy. Me too, man. it kind of helps cure the pain of that Game 7 loss. RG says if we played the Lakers in the first round, the Lakers would win 2 games at least. The freaking refs would give them too many free throws. That's another concern I have is I'm not saying we'd like lose because of the refs, but I think they would at least get 1 game because of that fact. I mean, look what happened last time we versed the Lakers. Austin Reeves got to the free throw line like a billion times, and LeBron didn't even play in that game. So hopefully it'd be well officiated and not clearly rigged. All right, let's move on here. Here's an interesting comment. I don't know if he was responding to somebody on this, but he said, I feel like you can't have a mediocre season, then start playing championship basketball. Okay. You're not wrong. And I sort of read an article about this. I think it was like on The Athletic or something. These Kevin Durant superstar trades to contenders don't happen very often. And I don't really have like any good examples. But in all fairness to the Suns, maybe I'm biased here. We did have a lot of injuries. We had a lot of inconsistencies. We had kind of a lot of growing up to do before the KD trade took place. I mean, wasn't it like a couple games ago? It was the first time we were like fully healthy with our starting 5 like all season. I'm not trying to make excuses. And this comment kind of is right. Like it's definitely an adjustment for teams to receive a superstar after having a mediocre season. But that's my point. Like we've had Kevin Durant for like 2 months. I can't imagine what this team is going to look like next year, assuming we stay fully healthy and we have, I mean, how long have we had Kevin Durant? 7 games now. I mean, can you imagine how we're going to look with Kevin Durant like next season, like 25, 30 games in? So this comment's not wrong, but like, I just think that due to the injuries and just the up and down chaotic season we had, especially all the off the court stuff with like Robert Sarver and all that, I think things are just going to get brighter and better. I mean, fingers crossed that happens. I don't know. All right, let's see. Going to take down the standings, by the way. All right, let's see. Yeah, Christopher says Warriors were mediocre last season and won the chip, right? Okay, let's see. I don't agree with this comment either. We haven't had any real competition the last few games. I don't know, man. Okay, let's see. All right, y'all. Well, I'm like reading the comments and everything. I think my brain just crapped out just at this exact second. I was reading the comments and my brain just fried. So I appreciate you guys being here. Sorry to end this so short, even though we've gone like almost an hour. I guess I'm going to end the show on a positive note for you guys. And again, first off, you guys, I truly appreciate all the support. I appreciate everybody that stuck around for over 55 minutes. Y'all are real ones. Sorry for my brain lapses and my brain freezes because that happens. I was like talking about something, my brain just freezes and I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I want to end the show on a positive note. Now, I know that this person can be a little controversial, especially on Twitter. I think outspoken is the best way to describe this person. But tonight we saw a lot of great stories, videos, photos. Andrew Leesis, who I made a video about a special story that he did where he gifted tickets to a student who was being bullied, who actually had to be pulled out of school due to the bullying. He was great. and he had a great time, and that story went viral, and I made a video and all that good stuff. Um, so Andrew Leesus, kept doing all that good stuff, and Matt Ishbia, our owner, reached out to Leesus and pretty much teamed up with him to gift 20 people with not only just Suns tickets, but um the suite tickets, like the good, the expensive seats and all that, up in the suites and all that. And it seems like a lot of great people had a lot of great time. They got all the free drinks and food. It looks like they had an absolute blast. So the reason that I'm bringing up the story is because we saw tonight like a marriage proposal with that group, and just a lot of people who just deserved it, like actual hardworking people, people who've been dealing with like real life stuff, who just needed one night out. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Andrew Leesus, even though he's a little controversial and a little outspoken at times. I consider him a friend, and I think that he has changed a little bit. I feel like he's like, if you guys know Andrew Leesus and some of the things that he's tweeted out before, I think he's done a great job of changing and all that. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to him. But not only just that, I mean, the ticket giveaway was great, and I saw a lot of great stories. Like, I cannot imagine his DMs because they were flooded. Like, I spent like 30 minutes looking through half of people tweeting out who they would take and why. And my brain was fried after that. I was like, holy cow, man, like these stories are incredible. And there's lots of people that deserve to go, but you can't take everybody. So the moral of the story is that was really good what Andrew Leesus did. And I've seen a lot of love and positivity on the Suns Twitter, because Suns Twitter is very toxic. Um, and I've seen a lot of love and positivity, but not even just the Leesus thing, like just from other Suns fans, just tweeting out nice things and tagging people in these nice things, including myself. It's just so good to see the love and positivity on Suns Twitter lately. But I also wanted to give a shout out to our owner, Matt Ishbia, because he truly has embraced the city of Phoenix, Arizona, the Suns, the Mercury. And I think it all started with Bright Side of the Sun. They had the famous Bright Side of the Sun night, and Matt Ishbia and his brother Justin donated, I believe it was $100,000 worth of tickets or something like that. It was a huge donation, the most that Dave King and Bright Side of the Sun have ever received. But not only that, like Matt Ishbia engaging with fans, attending games as a fan, not the owner. And he's talked about that. He said, like, when I'm at the game, I'm a fan. He's like, I'm not the owner. And I love that. And again, just partnering up I can't talk. Partnering up with Andrew Leesus on this ticket giveaway, him responding to certain tweets that he's seen. Matt Ishbia has been incredible for the Phoenix Suns. And I hope that this continues, because the way that he's embraced the Suns has been incredible. And it's just been awesome, y'all. So pretty much the moral of the story is Leesus and Matt Ishbia did a great job with the ticket giveaway. And I believe they selected all the right people. Matt Ishbia has embraced the Valley of the Sun, and I'm so happy he's our owner. And pretty much I've seen a lot of love and positivity on the lineup. And to end the show, the Suns just tweeted 7-0 with KD in the lineup, 2-0 with Headband Book. Yeah, I don't care what Channing Frye says. The Lakers aren't beating us. You heard it here first on Suns Geek, y'all. On that note, I'm out of here. And as David says, Al McCoy is the MVP of the game. Mikey says, Suns Geek rocks live streams. Thanks, man. I was a little rusty tonight, but I appreciate it. It's been a while since I feel like I've done a solo live show. I think this went well. But yeah, I think that's it, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to try to save my energy for that Lakers game Friday and the Clippers game, and the Nuggets game and all that, and really just save my energy for the playoffs. So go home, you guys. Enjoy your nights. Love your families. Love your friends. Be good to people out there. Bless people. Be patient with people, y'all. Be patient and kind. Spread kindness and positivity. I love you guys. I'm out of here. Do me a favor, y'all. You already know the drill. Hulk smash that like button. Share the show. Tell people about Suns Geek. I would really appreciate it. That's honestly the best way to support. Like, yeah, I love the subscribers and everything. I love when you guys subscribe, but really just keep watching. Just keep watching. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Peace out. And as always, go Suns. Shazam.